Something huge is unfolding across Europe, and it is moving faster than most people realize. Countries that once welcomed millions of migrants are now reversing course at full speed. In the year 2025, deportations are rising sharply, borders are tightening, and immigration policies are becoming tougher than at any point in recent history. This shift is not quiet, and it is not accidental. Is it driven by concerns over public safety, economic pressure, or political survival? And which European countries are pushing the hardest to send immigrants back? Today, we count down 10 European nations carrying out removals in record numbers, and some of these decisions may surprise you. Number 10. Latvia. Latvia might be small, with just 1.8 million people, roughly the population of Phoenix, Arizona, but when it comes to immigration, this Baltic nation is punching way above its weight in the year 2025. If you look at a map, Latvia shares a 214-kilometer border with Belarus and a 292-kilometer border with Russia, two countries that have been accused of weaponizing migration, basically pushing migrants toward European Union borders to create chaos. To fight back, Latvia has ramped up deportations by a whopping 45% compared to the year 2024. Last year, about 2,100 undocumented immigrants were deported, but in the year 2025, that number is expected to exceed 3,000. The government has also poured more than 200 million euros, about 215 million United States dollars, into border security, installing advanced thermal imaging cameras, motion sensors, and drones to prevent illegal crossings. And here is the part that gets controversial. Latvia is one of the first European countries to legalize pushbacks at the border. That means if migrants arrive illegally, they are immediately turned around and sent back to Belarus or Russia with no questions asked. Critics say this violates international asylum laws, but Latvia argues it is necessary to protect national security. Another major shift is Latvia tightening its residency laws. Previously, immigrants could apply for permanent residency after 5 years, but now the requirement is 10 years, and applicants must pass a Latvian language exam. This has created a mass exodus of Russian-speaking residents, with over 20,000 people leaving Latvia since the year 2024 because they cannot meet the new requirements. So is Latvia becoming a fortress? Number 9. Greece. Greece, the land of ancient history and stunning islands, has also faced one of Europe's biggest migration crises. Since the year 2015, Greece has been a main entry point for migrants, especially those arriving from Syria, Afghanistan, and parts of Africa through Turkey. By the year 2020, the country had received over 1.2 million migrants, more than 10% of its population. But in the year 2025, the Greek government is saying enough. New policies are cutting asylum approvals by 60%, and rejected applicants are being deported faster than ever. In the year 2024, about 15,000 migrants were deported, and in the year 2025, that number is expected to jump to 25,000. One of the most controversial measures is detention. Asylum applicants can now be held for up to 36 months while their case is reviewed, triple the previous limit, and the government says this is meant to discourage arrivals in the first place. Greece has also ramped up border patrols in the Aegean Sea, using Coast Guard boats, thermal drones, and artificial intelligence-powered surveillance to detect unauthorized crossings. Greece has also struck a major deal with Turkey, promising to return at least 10,000 migrants per year under a new border agreement worth 1.5 billion euros, about 1.6 billion United States dollars. But there is a catch. Turkey is demanding that the European Union increase financial aid in return for taking back the migrants. And Greece is moving faster on removals. Deportation flights are being fast-tracked, and the government has signed agreements with 15 African countries to return migrants directly to their home nations, cutting out lengthy European Union procedures. Human rights groups are furious, but many Greek citizens support the changes. In a 2025 poll, 72% of Greeks said they wanted stricter immigration laws, especially after high-profile crimes involving undocumented migrants. Number 8. Austria. Austria might not be the first country you think of when it comes to migration crackdowns, but this land of alpine peaks and classical music is now one of Europe's strictest enforcers. The reason is geography. Austria sits right in the middle of Europe's migrant corridor. It borders 8 countries, which makes it a key transit route for migrants heading north. Since the year 2015, Austria has received over 500,000 asylum applications, a huge number for a country with only 9 million people, and by the year 2024, public frustration had reached a breaking point. So what is Austria doing in the year 2025? First, it has cut asylum approvals by 70%, meaning the chances of getting approved are lower than ever. Second, Austria is prioritizing deportations, aiming to remove 40,000 undocumented immigrants in this year alone. And here is the part drawing the most attention. Austria is backing a European Union plan to build deportation hubs outside of Europe. The idea is that instead of housing migrants in Austria, they would be sent to processing centers in North Africa while their asylum cases are reviewed. The plan is still being developed, but if it moves forward, Austria intends to be at the forefront. The Austrian government is also blocking citizenship applications for migrants who have received any form of government assistance within the past 5 years. That means even someone who has legally worked in Austria could still be denied a passport if they have ever received welfare support or unemployment benefits. On top of that, Austria's newest border plan includes high-tech surveillance towers along the Slovakian and Hungarian borders. These 5-meter-tall towers come with artificial intelligence-powered facial recognition designed to scan people entering the country. Number 7. Denmark. Denmark is known for Vikings and for ranking among the happiest countries on earth, but here is what many people do not expect. Denmark is also one of the strictest countries on immigration in Europe. For years, Denmark has been quietly pushing a hardline approach that is now making headlines worldwide. In the year 2025, the Danish government is not only deporting illegal immigrants, it is also outsourcing the entire asylum process to Africa. Yes, that is the plan. Denmark has signed a deal with Rwanda worth about 250 million euros, roughly 270 million United States dollars, to relocate asylum seekers there while their applications are processed. The government argues this will deter illegal migration by making Denmark a less attractive destination. And Denmark is not stopping there. Denmark has introduced what it calls a zero asylum policy, meaning it will accept almost no new refugees except under exceptional circumstances. In the year 2024, Denmark approved only 800 asylum applications, described as the lowest number in the European Union. Compare that to Sweden, which approved 20,000, and the scale of Denmark's shift becomes clear. In the year 2025, Denmark is doubling down on deportations with a target of 10,000 removals by the end of the year. Authorities are even revoking residency permits from Syrians and Afghans who have lived in Denmark for years, arguing that conditions in their home countries are now safe enough for return. This move has sparked major protests, but the government has not backed down. Another controversial rule targets settlement and daily life. Immigrants from non-Western backgrounds must now live in designated integration zones, specific neighborhoods where they must attend Danish culture and language classes before being allowed to move freely. Failure to comply can lead to deportation. Denmark's stance has made it one of the most extreme cases in Europe, and yet a whopping 76% of Danish voters support these policies. Number 6. Italy. Italy has been dealing with a migration crisis for decades, and in the year 2025 it has rolled out one of the wildest solutions yet, sending migrants to Albania. Yes, that is the plan. Italy and Albania have signed an agreement worth 1.5 billion euros, about 1.6 billion United States dollars, that allows Italy to send 36,000 migrants per year to Albanian processing centers while their asylum claims are reviewed. The goal is to take pressure off Italy's overloaded immigration system, where over 180,000 migrants arrived by sea in the year 2024 alone, a 60% increase from the year 2023. The Italian government, led by Prime Minister Giorgia Meloni, has also introduced rapid deportation laws aimed at removing at least 40,000 undocumented migrants in the year 2025. That is a huge change from earlier governments that struggled to deport even 20,000 people per year. And there is more. Italy is now seizing migrant boats at record rates. The Italian Coast Guard has confiscated over 1,200 boats used by smugglers in the first half of the year 2025 alone. The message is simple. If you arrive illegally, you are not staying. Another big shift is Italy's crackdown on humanitarian non-governmental organizations. These groups, which rescue migrants at sea, are now facing heavy fines and even jail time for bringing migrants to Italian shores. The government argues this is necessary to break smuggling networks, while human rights activists say it is putting lives at risk. Despite all of this, Italy is still struggling to control migration, especially from Tunisia and Libya, where smugglers keep finding new ways to send migrants across the Mediterranean. Can Italy's new strategy really stop illegal migration? Only time will tell. Number 5. Poland. Poland is taking no chances in the year 2025 when it comes to immigration. This country, known for pierogies and medieval castles, has become one of the toughest anti-immigration nations in Europe. So what changed? Poland has sealed its 400-kilometer border with Belarus by building a high-tech border wall costing 350 million euros, about 380 million United States dollars. It is equipped with motion detectors, drones, and artificial intelligence surveillance, built to stop what officials call a hybrid war after Belarus was accused of pushing thousands of migrants into Poland to create political instability. Poland says it is working. In the year 2024, over 50,000 migrants tried to cross illegally. In the year 2025, that number has dropped by 80%, credited to the wall and strict deportation laws. Poland has also passed an emergency law allowing border guards to deport anyone caught crossing illegally immediately, with no asylum claim, no appeal, and no delay. If you are caught, you are sent back the same day. Poland has started mass deportation flights, removing at least 5,000 migrants per month to their home countries. The government is spending 500 million euros, roughly 540 million United States dollars, in this year alone on charter flights to Africa, the Middle East, and South Asia. Public support is strong. In a year 2025 poll, 82% said they wanted even stricter controls. Critics say Poland is going too far, pointing to refugees from Syria and Sudan being denied entry. The European Union has warned Poland it may be violating international asylum laws, but Poland's message is blunt. Our country, our rules. In the year 2025, if you are an illegal immigrant, you are not staying. Number 4. Finland. Finland, the land of saunas, northern lights, and some of the happiest people on earth, has taken a hard turn on immigration. You might think of Finland as calm and welcoming, but in the year 2025 it has become one of Europe's strictest countries for migrants. The Finnish government set a new record by deporting over 10,000 migrants in a single year, which is double the number of deportations compared to the year 2023, and officials say the country is only getting tougher. Finland has introduced express deportations. If you enter Finland illegally, you can be sent back within 48 hours, with no asylum application and no long legal process. The biggest change is at the eastern border. Finland has now shut its border with Russia completely, after accusing Russia of sending thousands of migrants across in an attempt to destabilize the country. To stop this, Finland built a 200-kilometer border fence, costing 400 million euros, about 435 million United States dollars, equipped with drones, infrared cameras, and motion sensors. Finland is not only blocking new arrivals, it is also removing people who are already inside. The government has revoked over 5,000 residence permits from asylum seekers, arguing that home countries such as Afghanistan, Iraq, and Somalia are now safe enough for return. The decision triggered major protests, but the Finnish government has not backed down. There is another twist. Finland is targeting criminal migrants more aggressively than ever. If you are convicted of a crime, even a minor one, your chances of deportation increase by 300%. In the year 2024 alone, Finland deported over 1,500 foreign criminals, including gang members and drug traffickers. Surprisingly, many Finns support these moves. In a year 2025 survey, 68% of Finnish citizens said they wanted even stricter immigration laws, arguing Finland's welfare system should be for Finns first. Finland in the year 2025 is not the same Finland from a decade ago. Number 3. Sweden. Sweden used to be one of the most welcoming countries for immigrants, but in the year 2025, that has completely changed. Sweden has reversed its immigration policies and is now deporting migrants at record levels. To understand why, it helps to rewind. After taking in over 1.2 million refugees between the year 2015 and the year 2023, Sweden began struggling with rising crime, gang violence, and growing social tension. In response, the new government launched Operation Clean Sweden, a major campaign aimed at deporting at least 50,000 undocumented migrants by the end of the year 2025. So how are they doing it? First, Sweden has cut social benefits for undocumented migrants. No more free housing, free healthcare, or welfare if you do not have legal status. This has pushed thousands to leave voluntarily because they can no longer afford to stay. Second, Sweden is fast-tracking deportations like never before. Immigration courts now process asylum cases in about half the time, and rejected applicants must leave within 30 days or risk being forcibly removed. Under this new system, over 25,000 migrants have already been expelled. But the biggest shock is that Sweden is now deporting entire families, even when some members were born in Sweden. The government argues that if the parents are undocumented, the children must leave too. This has triggered major protests, but officials insist it is necessary to restore law and order. Crime has been the central driver behind this crackdown. In the year 2024 alone, Sweden recorded about 1,300 shootings, many linked to gang violence in immigrant-dominated areas. The Prime Minister has declared Sweden will no longer tolerate criminal migrants, and anyone convicted of any crime, no matter how minor, will be deported immediately. Another controversial step is that deportation officers are being sent into schools to identify undocumented children, sparking outrage abroad. Despite the backlash, Swedish voters appear to support the shift. A year 2025 poll found that 72% of Swedes back these tougher measures, saying they want Sweden to feel safe again. From one of Europe's most open countries to one of its strictest, Sweden's transformation has been nothing short of shocking. Number 2. Germany. If you had told someone in the year 2015 that Germany, Europe's economic powerhouse and one of the most immigrant-friendly countries, would be mass deporting migrants by the year 2025, they would have laughed. But that is exactly what is happening now. Germany, once known for its welcome culture, is taking a much harsher stance on immigration, and the numbers are staggering. In the year 2025 alone, Germany has deported over 60,000 migrants, the highest total since World War II. That is about a 50% increase compared to the year 2023. So what changed? Germany's migration crisis has hit a breaking point. After accepting more than 2 million refugees since the year 2015, the country is facing housing shortages, rising crime, and mounting economic pressure. The cost of supporting asylum seekers has ballooned to around 50 billion euros, roughly 54 billion United States dollars per year, and taxpayers are fed up. A survey in the year 2025 found that 74% of Germans believe the country has too many migrants and support stricter deportation laws. One of Germany's most controversial tools is a fast-track deportation law that allows authorities to remove rejected asylum seekers in as little as 14 days, instead of the usual month-long process. That change has made it easier to send back tens of thousands of people, especially those from Afghanistan, Syria, and North Africa. But it does not stop there. Germany has also cut benefits for asylum seekers, reducing housing support and financial assistance to encourage voluntary return. In the year 2025 alone, this policy has already pushed over 20,000 migrants to leave on their own. And crime has become a major driver of the crackdown.